Welcome to the Manager Matt podcast show. I do hope you are well. As you may have noticed, this is a slightly different episode format. Yes, change is amongst us. Yet change the format at the start, doing a little bit something different with the music. And that's because there is going to be 3 shortish episodes in this series where I'm going to look at how to be the best. Now, how to be the best at what, you might be shouting? Well, let me tell you more about how to be the best. We all want to be the best. But this is going to be around an operational focus. How am I going to be the best as a team leader? How am I going to be the best as a shift manager? And how am I going to be the best as a site manager if I get there? We're looking at that natural progression from one to the other. Without any more delay, though, let's start with the first one in that list. How to be a better team leader. So, what is a team leader? How does a team leader work? Well, team leading isn't just around getting promoted from operator because you were the best. It can be sometimes, but it's not about that. It's not about how I can shout at my team, but it's about how, in my position as the team leader, how do I move forward? And the title team leader, well, it sounds simple enough, doesn't it? What do you think it means? You lead the team. But what does it actually mean? Well, let's get it clear. Team leading isn't about being some sort of super operative. You may have done the job for a long time, but it's not always that gets you the promotion. Your job isn't just about fixing problems, although it will be heavily fixing problems at that level. But it's about more than just firefighting. You have to lead. Now, yes, of course, firefighting as becoming a hero is great and you get a really good buzz off it, but it doesn't really make the business work better. A team leader needs to think around how it can be better. How can it get its systems right? How can it improve at the level that you are? The role of the team leader is, of course, around delivering results. We're all about that. So you're sandwiched there between, the people on the shop floor and the shift manager, and you've got to make sure that the project's delivered, the widgets are made, whatever it is as a team leader you do. You've got to develop people. You need to know that as a team member, you are going to grow the people around you to the next level. It's not just around your supervisor or shift manager doing the development. It's about you as a team leader looking for the next person who could take that role. You're going to communicate, and you're going to communicate up and down. You have the bridge between the front line and the management. Now think of it, you are there as a star player on the pitch. You've got to get your stuff done, but also you're the captain. So you're the captain of that team, and it means that you need to obviously organise the team, make sure things happen, but also you're going to communicate to the managers how things went on the field. So how do you add value to the customer as a team leader? How do you add value to the company? Because that's what you're there to do. Now, you need to make sure that you're doing the right things day in, day out. Sounds simple, isn't it? But what are the right things? What do you need to do to add value to that wider business? Well, here's a few you need to look at. You need to hit your KPIs consistently. No flash in the pan here. You need to make sure that you are reliable and repeatable. So as a team leader, you have got to make sure your team always delivers and they're always ready to go ahead. You do have to solve problems. You're not just going to pass them on, because every time there's an issue, you can't just escalate straight up. You need to add value. You've got to try to fix it. You need that frontline fix before you start escalating. I've worked with some really good team leaders who know their business inside and out and get things done day in, day out. They don't always escalate all the time. I've also had poorer team leaders who, at the first sign of trouble, just shoot it up. It's not my issue. I don't get paid enough. It's above my pay grade, you hear. But you've got to solve that problems. You can't just pass them on. You've got to find a solution. You need to look at improvements. And there's sometimes where team leaders fall down. They start to repeat, do the same things. But you need to make sure you're making small, continuous improvements. If that's cutting waste, saving time, reducing errors, whatever that is, you need to be that person doing that. So as a team leader, you're looking at how you can fix the issues, but look at improvements that can save the business money, time, builds trust, and of course helps you look for that next role yourself. And you need to be dependent. When the manager turns, they need to know that you are there to get those things done. You are going to be quick, you're going to get the jobs over the line, and you get the people on point. Now, one of the things that does get overlooked as a team leader is building a team. And that sounds a bit strange because as a team leader, you think, well, I'm just given the team to lead. But you don't. You go back to that analogy of the captain on the field. You have an input to make sure that you are getting the right people in. And that might be working with an agency if you've got temporary labour to make sure that they're the right ones. You're also going to make sure you're promoting the team around you to be better. So that might be things like getting the team together in your daily huddles and look at a couple of areas you need to be looking at. Clarity. Everyone needs to know what their role is and what you expect from them. So the confusion can be the biggest time waster on a shift. If you come in, you've got your team set and you tell them clearly what's going to happen in that day, that's the first part of your team leading done. They need to trust you. They need to know that you have their back. And that means that little bit of a sandwich we spoke about earlier, you are in the middle, but you've got to make sure that those people will put in 100% effort if they feel that you as a team leader are building the team with trust. Don't shy away from feedback. It's always going to be there. You're not just the yearly review nonsense. We're talking about real-time feedback. Nice job. That's great. Oh, come on, guys. Next time we need to do this. Short, sharp, really useful. Look at feedback as a team leader. And then develop. Spoke about earlier. How are you developing the talent in that team to be the next you? Because no way you can move until you've got a good team around you and someone who's going to step into your spot and take that role forward. The teams perform as a whole. No point having one superstar if the rest of the team aren't doing what they need to do. And that's all around developing good teams around you. So you've been a team leader. Where do you want to go? Said it's natural progression to look at the next level up. Some people stay as team leaders forever. They enjoy the rush of a team. They enjoy the getting things done. They enjoy getting their hands dirty sometimes. But if you really want to go that way, that's the next thing. What's that next promotion look like? Being the best team leader doesn't automatically mean that you're going to get promoted. Sometimes businesses are funny about that. They like the people who are good team leaders to stay there. And that's fine if you want to do that. But it's not if you don't feel you're going to get held back. So what your first thing you got to do if you're eyeing up promotion is, of course, do your current job brilliantly. You're not going to get promoted if you don't, although you probably know some people you think, how have you got a promotion? But that's for another tale. But don't be the person who's always chasing the next role without forgetting you've got to do excellence today to build credibility for tomorrow. Think like the next level. So if you're a team leader, and we talked about good team leaders being able to take on the role and make it their own, and poor team leaders try to escalate straight away, think like the next leader. If you want to be the manager or shift manager, start acting like one. Don't be bossy. You're not going to tell people what to do. Don't go over at the top of your manager, but think like a manager. What would the steps be? How would you see the bigger picture and communicate? You've got to build relationships. So you're not going to get promoted unless you're trusted. And to trust, you need to have that good relationship with your boss, with your departments, with other departments, and be a positive influence on the way that the business works. That's how you do it. And then be visible. Share the wins with your team. Make sure that they know what improvements you are. You're not being big-headed. You're not going to be bragging. But make sure people know and notice you're good. You're not brilliant by accident. You are good. So if you're looking at promotion, think about doing those 4 things. Make sure you're doing your current job brilliantly. Think like the next leader. Build some relationships and be visible. Okay. I said it was going to be a short one. It's probably gone on a little bit longer than I thought. But closing thoughts for this one, what does a good team leader do and how does a good team leader become the best team leader? Well, they deliver results. They develop the people. They add value by solving problems and making improvements. And they build a team that trusts them and grows them. So, if you are in a team leader role now and you're looking at those next steps, have a listen, maybe re-listen, think about where you can add value and move that business forward because we are built on our next level down. Great leaders always rise, and it doesn't matter if you're just starting out your journey or been a team leader for many, many years, you can move and grow with the right encouragement. Well, okay, hope you've enjoyed that one. Next week's episode is going to be around how to be the best shift manager. But for now, thank you for listening and goodbye.